As summer draws to a close this morning, we revisit a topic from earlier this year, the stock market adage of sell in May and go away. If you sold in May, is now the time to come back to the market? In this morning's U.S. Bank Economic 360, U.S. Bank Senior Vice President Mike Denneman joins Business Courier publisher Jamie Smith in the studio to discuss what might be in store for this fall. Mike and Jamie.
Thanks, Peg. Mike, thanks for being here.
Good morning.
So tell us, is it time to come back?
Is it time to come back, right? Well, yeah, as Peg mentioned, yeah, the cliche, not very helpful on the back end, right? Pretty clear on when to sell, not so clear on when to come back, right? So, and again, we've talked about this in the past. Most of that is just market superstition anyway, right? It's not a hard and fast rule, but it does recognize that summer tends to be a slower time for the market. So if that is at least true, then when do things pick back up, right? And so August has, over the long term, been a pretty decent month for the market as a general rule, so that would seem like a logical time to come back. Unfortunately, this August, thus far anyway, hasn't been particularly good. At least the volatility is back in a big way. Just in the first 2 weeks, we've seen some very big swings, both higher and lower. So I think that says that investors are still a little bit on edge. There's still some things to worry about out there.
Is there anything causing that? What's wrong?
Well, so every day there seems to be something different to worry about, right? But most recently here, the last week or so, most of the concerns have been centered around the financial crisis that's going on now in Turkey.
Okay.
And that's a situation we've seen play out many times in the past. They've overborrowed, heavily in debt, inflation running away, not a lot of capital reserves, all these things that we have seen make for interesting financial situations in the past. So the key is, of course, that Turkey is not a very big player in the global economy. Right. So the ripple effect of this should not be large. However, again, if investors are already on edge, you start to worry about, well, is this a contagion? Is there a domino effect? Does this start to ripple further than just Turkey? And so that's where we see a lot of that volatility come back. Important to point out, though, that that's a world away,
right,
and a minor occurrence, at least for now. But there's something much closer to home that's right around the corner that might have more of an impact on our market, and that is the midterm election.
Okay. Talk a little bit about that. What do we expect? What do you think?
Well, so just going on what's happened historically, and really this is probably something we can devote an entire segment to here in the near future, but in a nutshell, looking back historically, the market has not performed well in the months leading up to the election. The reason for that, most consider just the uncertainty of the election causes concerns for the market. So furthermore, much of that uncertainty in the market starts around August.
Okay.
And so I know we just said August, historically a pretty decent month for the market, and that's true. However, things work a little bit differently during a midterm election year, and so I think the expectation is the next couple months, a little bit more uncertain, a little more volatile than typical, and we might be seeing the early stages of that right now.
Yeah, I know if anything, you're going to keep an eye on it. You're going to tell us what happens.
We will keep you posted.
All right, I know I can always count on you. Thanks for that, Mike.